Hey everyone, it's Jeannie here, and today I am so incredibly excited, ecstatic to be joined by my favorite band on the planet. You know them, Switchfoot. Well, two members of Switchfoot, John and Tim Foreman. They have a new album, Interrobang, which I can't wait to hear all about. It's different than what we're used to from the boys. And I'm just really excited to hear how all of this was birthed. So welcome, guys.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, what does Interrobang mean? That's my first question.
Well, it's a question mark and an exclamation mark at the same time, one on top of the other, which feels like it's a very appropriate symbol for the world that we live in right now, right? Two polarizing things happening all at once and trying to make something beautiful and find harmony in the dissonance.
That's awesome. And it is such a statement for the time. How was it for you guys coming together to create in the world that we currently are living in? You know, we had a global pandemic and an election year that was insane, all this injustice, all this, uproar. How was it for you guys?
Yeah, I feel like the record couldn't have been made in any other time. It absolutely represents the year that we just lived through. And by we, I mean like the human race just lived through. And I feel like I'm really honored and proud to put this music out because I feel like even this week, you have what's going on in Afghanistan, you've got what's going on in Haiti, you have, even right here in the US. I think that this album is singing into all of that and attempting to ask the bigger question. And what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to find unity with someone that you disagree with? And these are open-ended questions I think we are always going to be trying to figure out, but certainly right now it feels like the right record. I feel like it just feels so weighty, everything that I read on the news, and I feel honored to be singing these songs into that weight.
I think what's always been so incredibly unique about you guys, and I got to listen to the record and I feel the same way. You make us think, you don't just say exactly what it is that you're trying to say. You present it in a way that makes people think, the human race think about what you're saying, like unity and what it is to be human and faith and, lack of faith or whatever, and I think that that's why you are so received, like on so many levels from all different types of people, because I do think that that's, you bring the best out of us and helping us to think about these deeper things. You talked about in the album trailer, you said the record came from a place of intense longing for justice and truth. What does that mean for Switchfoot? What's intense justice and truth?
I think, you talk about me bringing questions to people and bringing people along for that ride. I think it's because these are the things that keep me up at night. Like, it's not as if I have the answers and I'm holding them back from the listener. It's literally me wrestling with these questions in the song. I feel so fortunate to have this medium, this outlet to be able to express these doubts and beliefs and frustrations and pains and joys. And I think it's this diary that we get to bring into the world. And I feel like it's the highest honor to find someone else who says, I've felt that exact same thing. There's in the science of sound, you have what's called sympathetic resonance. And this is what happens where there's a piano over there, and if I hit a note, it will resonate. That note will resonate because it has the exact same frequency that my voice is carrying. That's called sympathetic resonance. You have it when your windows rattle when a truck drives by. And I feel like it's such an incredible honor to have somebody say, I felt something within me come alive when you said that. You know, that there's some sympathetic resonance when you said that in your song. And I think that's one of the biggest compliments you can have as a songwriter, is to feel like, hey, me too, I felt that. I know what that feels like, you know?
Yeah, and I think we live in a time where you don't have to look hard to find opinions and arguments. But this is an album that assumes that you lost the argument. Which is to say that no one's mind was changed. Wow. My mind wasn't changed and your mind wasn't either. What happens now? Do we still have a relationship? Can we still be friends? Can we still stay in the dialogue and live together? What does that look like?
Even bigger, can we make something beautiful even in the tension?
Yes.
You know what? And that's so crazy because you guys segued into my next question, which I was going to say. I heard in the album trailer, you know, you said that you and Tony, you know, you guys kind of kept butting heads in a sense, in the natural sense, but in the music sense, you made this beautiful masterpiece. How was it for you, like, with that tension, creating intention? Because I mean, you're Switchfoot. Like, you don't need that. But you chose, seriously, if I'm being honest, but you chose to put yourself in that place with somebody that you thought would bring the best out of the record, like you guys. So how was it creating in that beautiful tension?
It wasn't always beautiful. It was,
you mean it was like the whole year of 2020? That's what it was.
Yeah.
I think it forced this reality within the studio that the tension is inescapable. There's no running from it, not even with a microphone in a studio with just your bandmates and a producer. Right. And I think that you know, sitting in that tension, living that, that's the only way that this album could have been made. You know, it's a direct response to that feeling.
So let me ask you guys this, because you have a lot of listeners who might not know how to act in that tension and might think it's a better idea to run away from it, but you guys did it. So talk about that, not running from the tension. We can't escape it. Like you said, you know, you go on social media, you turn on the news, you can't escape the tension, the opposition that you're going to feel to whatever it is that your position is. You know what I mean? So how do we live in that place? If you could give advice to us.
I have two thoughts on that. I think ultimately, when you have two humans, at some point, no matter how similar they are, at some point they will disagree. Yeah. And so let us presuppose that every single person is different. Let's presuppose that there's going to be things that we disagree about. Mm-hmm. And then let's presuppose that we have to find a way to live together. That maybe we share a planet. And maybe in the biblical term, we might even be neighbors. We might share a property line. We might share a city. We might, you know, share a nation together. And if we, instead of saying, oh my gosh, you're different than me, what if that weren't a shock? What if, of course you're different than me, and of course we have to find a way through this? What if that were our beginning part? Yeah. And then the second thought is, I take a lot of cues from Christ. I think he chose to go out directly and have conversations with people that he disagreed with. And I know, you know, obviously he would retreat and have quiet time of prayer and meditation and reflection and all of that. But his life was lived in the tension. I mean,
Right.
if you want to talk about taking that all the way to its final conclusion, I mean, you have no better representation than the cross for tension, you know. And I feel like that surrender is the ultimate response to the tension rather than taking up arms. And that violence can be lived out on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever it is, those defensive aggressions that we have, I feel like are the opposite and the antithesis of the gospel.
I agree. I love that. So you guys are individuals, so you might have two different answers to this. But I know it's so hard to ask this question because they're all your babies, but what's a song right now that is on the album that you're like, this song is the one that's resonating right now in my soul, and this is what I'm most excited to perform tonight or to sing tonight?
I think for me, a song that's been a favorite throughout the process has been Lost Cause. And I really identify with that song. I mean, that is the question. Are we a lost cause, or are we just lost? Right? Is the story's not finished. And I'm a relentlessly optimistic person. You know, I refuse to believe that that we're done. I'm not done. I'm learning every day. And I think that's something that I think a headspace that I've grown in the last couple of years is to realize that in any instance, no matter how right I think I am, there's something to be learned.
Yeah.
And not only can I tolerate or learn to live with someone that I disagree with, but I need that person. I need that person because they will either confirm what I know to be true, or they will challenge me to learn new things. And that's a beautiful thing.
Love it.
Beautiful, albeit painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So painful at times. I mean, Lost Cause is
You're right.
It's not a happy song, you know.
Yeah.
But there's the hope that there's still more lines to be written to the story.
Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites as well. How about you, John?
I would choose Beloved. I feel like that track, man, it gets me.
Yeah.
I feel like that so that song was written initially with the idea that the highest definition of a human, myself included, would be beloved. Who are you? I am a surfer, I'm a brother, I'm a father, I'm a friend, I'm a whatever you are. That all of those are subservient and lesser than the definition of calling yourself beloved. And so that's kind of where the song begins. And it then it wrestles with the other, the neighbor, the tension that Tim was talking about. It talks about the state of the world and attempting to find a way to identify all these other different, at times troubling human souls that we're interfacing with, trying to identify them as beloved as well.
Right. Which is that's so beautiful. And that's the goal for us. I mean, as a Christian, for me, to love my neighbor as myself, to love the unlovely, you know. My favorite song is The Bones of Us. And in a married setting, I was thinking about it, just there's been tension just because of the climate that I'm in, and about to be a first-time mom and all that. And
whoa, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's a miracle because we have a lot of babies in heaven, so this is a miracle. And you know, I listened to the song and I was just like, yes, I fight for you, you know. It was just so powerful.
Mm.
Thank you for making songs that, like you said, resonate.
Mm.
Is there anything else that you guys really want to add or touch on? I already took a little bit more time than we had allotted, so.
No, I mean,
I think you did. You asked some really great questions. I really appreciated it.
yeah.
You know? Well, that means a lot. You guys are awesome. I appreciate what you do in this world. You do make us think. They're your questions, but I think there are questions too, and not a lot of artists, I guess, give us the freedom to you know, feel like we can question. So I love you guys, and I pray that God will continue to use you to change this world to make it better. Seriously.
Mm.
Thank you
Honored.
so much. Really honored. Yeah.